begin? I come from an interesting walk of life. I have been through a lot of trauma, and it started when I was 7 years old when my mom passed away. And that set a precedent of a very interesting future. And to say that I lived a life of rebellion is a complete understatement. And so as I grew up, I started to really lean on to unhealthy behaviors like drinking, smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, and just poisoning my body. And eventually I started doing Molly, started getting addicted to cocaine, and the cocaine problem ended up being an issue for me for a while, consuming my life. The 4 a.m. night started turning into 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I mean, sometimes even into the afternoon until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I would often, be sitting there so stuck all the time, so held back, so broken. And I just didn't know how to get out of all of that. So about a year and a half ago, I really started looking at what kind of things can help me like break free from what I'm dealing with. And so I started looking at mushrooms and the benefits of what psilocybin could really do for the mind. And so in October of 2022, I started my microdosing journey. And immediately within a week, 2 weeks, I felt myself become so hyper aware of the parts of myself inside that I wasn't happy with. And I started to feel myself slowly detaching from that. And so what did I do? Still was partying, still drinking, still doing coke. That was just something that I didn't fully give up yet. But I mean, not that long after, a couple months after, New Year's Eve going into 2023, I went on a wild, crazy bender, drinking, doing a bunch of blow, all night long. And I had to go to work. I had to go bartend off no sleep. Like I went home, showered, changed, went to work, and I just felt terrible. Like I was sick to my stomach. And the only thing that I thought of that could possibly help me in that moment was like, let me eat a little piece of chocolate. Let's see what happens. And thankfully, because of that, surge of energy, boost of energy. I felt great. I felt like I didn't, just spend the whole night poisoning myself, doing blow and drinking all night. I felt good. But what happened at the end of it, at the end of my shift, I was in the bathroom. I was so sick again. I was so physically ill, and I could still feel the effects of the psilocybin. And I had this moment with myself, looking at myself in the mirror, and just this complete hyper awareness, staring at myself in the face, saying, no more, no more. You're done. Today, you're done. This is it. And so that was January 1st of 2023. I made that decision that I'm not going to do this anymore. And I ended up quitting coke and quitting drinking cold turkey, and didn't think that that was going to happen that fast for that ego death experience to arrive in the way that it did. But it felt exciting. It felt liberating. I was like, okay, let me continue on this. Now I can change the tone of my life. I can pursue something different. Now I can declutter my mind. I still was vaping. I still was smoking weed, but I made a decision. I'm going to get better. I'm going to make a change. And so what I did was I invested into starting my business and really diving in on that whole entire experience. And last year was such a transformative year. And I continued to use psilocybin medicinally to just continue opening up my mind. I saw the way that it was working on my mind, on my heart, on my soul. I no longer felt like I was decaying from the inside out. And so along the journey of continuing to pursue it and continuing to grow in my business and as an individual, I started to grow in my faith with God. And I felt like I could hear him actually speaking to me and telling me that there's more for me to do for myself. And so what happened? Cold turkey had this little voice, was like, no more vaping, no more smoking weed. And I just gave it up. And I gave it up completely. And ever since then, I have grown so close to God. And I think this is one of those beautiful moments where when you pursue psilocybin, whatever it is that you believe in, it just taps you into that in such an in-depth level. And it really aligned me with who I truly am and who I've always been all along. I just suppressed it down. And the way that it was able to allow me to find deeper healing by creating that hyper awareness of all the things that I was participating in that were horrible for me. And not only did it really set a positive tone in my business, it allowed me to build a stronger connection with all of my clients. Like, I don't have to worry anymore about where my next big payout's going to come from. I'm attracting the ideal clients because now I fully embody being the person that I am teaching my clients to be, right? So there's a lot that it was able to do for me, and it completely transformed my life. And I think that there are a lot of people out there that are battling addiction in terrible ways, but to overcome that, there are better options. And I think that psilocybin is one of the most beautiful things. Not only is it going to allow you to tap into yourself and the things that you need to fix, it's going to allow you to tap into how you truly feel, in that inner knowing and that inner leader that's sitting in there just waiting to be heard. It allows you to really fine tune what that means and who you are to the core. And I just think that that's such a beautiful thing. And that's how it worked through my life. And I'm excited to see how it continues to transform the lives of everybody else.